The federal government has released its final version of the life insurance industry reforms as draft legislation, with consultation closing on the 4th of January. The final industry package, developed in collaboration with the AFA, the FPA and FSC, is broadly similar to the reforms announced by the government on 25 June last year. Key elements of the finalised reforms are a phasing down in the upfront commissions to a maximum of 80% of the first year's premium from 1 July 2016, 70% in the second year from 1 July 2017, and then a maximum of 60% for all following years from 1 July 2018. A maximum ongoing commission of 20% of the premium in all subsequent years from 1 July 2016, a 2-year clawback period commencing 1 July 2016 applying as follows. For the first year of the policy, 100% of the commission on the first year's premium. For the second year of the policy, 60% of the commission on the first year's premium. The major changes from the initial reform package are the delay in the commencement of the new framework from 1 January to 1 July 2016, and the reduction in the proposed 3-year clawback period to only a 2-year retention period. The government has secured Senate agreement to extend the timeframe for advisors to send renewal or opt-in notices and fee disclosure statements to retail clients from 30 to 60 days. The bill is yet to receive royal assent. Assistant Treasurer Kelly O'Dwyer announced the Senate's passing of the Corporations Amendment Bill and said FOFA should now be considered settled and given time to work. The key changes, described as technical amendments to the bill, extend the time for fee recipients to provide a renewal notice to a retail client from 30 to 60 days after the client's fee renewal notice day, and fee disclosure statements to pre-1 July 2013 retail clients from 30 to 60 days after the client's disclosure day. A number of other amendments to the FOFA reforms have been disallowed by the Senate. These include changes to SOA requirements and the safe harbour provisions. US economic growth figures were recently revised upwards in line with expectations from 1.5% to 2.1%. The rate of economic growth for all of 2015 is now expected to be around 2.5%, which is just up on the figure of 2.4% growth recorded for 2014. At the same time as the unemployment rate has been falling, it has been accompanied by signs that wages are finally beginning to rise. This is likely to be positive for economic growth in 2016, particularly if consumers experience a pickup in disposable income, which then flows through to overall US consumer sentiment. Japan's economy contracted in the September quarter, putting its economy into a technical recession. That is, 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, for the 4th time in 6 years. Recently released data showed that Japan's economy shrank at an annualized rate of 0.8% in the July-September period from the previous quarter, following a 0.7% contraction in the second quarter. In its monthly economic report for November, the Japanese government downgraded its view on business investment, saying it saw weakness in areas such as production and exports. Greece's parliament has approved new austerity measures which include higher taxes on road use and wine, as well as increased limits on protection for distressed mortgage holders. Following agreement to implement these measures, the European Stability Mechanism formally agreed to release the next instalment of the country's bailout program, worth €2 billion. This follows a €13 billion payout in late August. Greece's economy is expected to slip back into recession this year, according to the country's 2016 budget submitted to Parliament. National debt is set to climb higher and projected to reach 188% of annual economic output, or €327.6 billion. At its final meeting for 2015, the RBA board judged that the prospects for an improvement in local economic conditions had firmed a little. However, an unchanged cash rate of 2% was still appropriate. The board also observed that the inflationary outlook could provide scope for further easing of policy, should there be a need to lend more support to domestic demand. On the international front, the RBA continued to see the global economy expanding at a moderate pace, led by US growth and a recovery in Europe, although with some softening in conditions in Asian economies. Australia's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate dropped to 5.9% in October, which was significantly better than market expectations, and the September reading of 6.2%. During October, 58,600 jobs were added, the largest one-month gain since March 2012, with the number of unemployed declining by 33,400 to 739,500. Most of the decline was attributed to those who were looking for, but had now found, full-time work. ASIC reported it had received just 204 applications for a limited AFS licence as of mid-November. In total, ASIC has now approved 78 applications, while 101 applications have been rejected or withdrawn. With the accountant's exemption to expire on 30 June 2016, ASIC urged all accountants to have their licensing arrangements sorted by March.